Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in the sport of football inside the NFL world. In today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the latest NFL signings and the latest rumors and speculations that have happened this week in NFL free agency. So let's start off with the biggest signing that has happened this week. The signing that happened in the Big Apple with Russell Wilson signing a one-year contract with the New York Giants. Russell Wilson signed a one-year contract to be a part of the New York Giants for the 2025-26 NFL regular season. A one-year contract that is worth $21 million with $10 million being guaranteed in the one-year deal to give Russell Wilson a chance to shine in the Big Apple for the New York Giants. So my thoughts on this signing: as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I did chuckle at the news that Russell Wilson was going to play for the Giants next year. But after I thought about it, it's really not the worst signing in the world because this is an upgrade over Daniel Jones. Russell Wilson, even the production that we're getting out of Russell Wilson now is 10 times better than the production that you were getting out of Daniel Jones when you overpaid for a quarterback to stay way too long in New York with the New York Giants. But it's a strange quarterback room heading into next NFL season to have Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito. Now, all three of them are not guaranteed to be on the roster by week one, but it is kind of strange, bizarre that the Giants signed all three of these quarterbacks in the same month of March during NFL free agency. So this shows me that the Giants are already planning to have a veteran at the quarterback position start week one. And with the Giants having the third overall pick, they're just going to go for the best player on the board. That being Abdul Carter, edge rusher from Penn State, or Travis Hunter, Heisman Trophy winner that can play two positions, whether that's at the cornerback position or the wide receiver position. So I think they're going to draft the best player available on the board, which they should do. But if you draft one of these two players, they can obviously raise your stock on the defensive side of the ball, because if you look at the Giants, how good they played defensively last year, even though they were one of the worst teams in the league, before the Dexter Lawrence injury, the New York Giants defense, they were leading the league in sacks, and they were an underrated defense that was only surrendering 17 to 20 points per game. So they already have a solid defense, even though the team wasn't that good. That was one of their only bright spots last year, was their defense. So I think if the Giants could go into this draft, they get the best player, third overall, because obviously we know Cam Ward is going to the Tennessee Titans, and then that's really when the NFL draft begins this year. With the Browns having to only take either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, you still have a chance to get either one of those players with the third pick. So your draft starts there. You can rebuild the offensive line as well, continue to retool the offensive line. And this team could be a decent team next year. I'm not saying they're going to win the NFC East because the Eagles and the Commanders are there. Even though the Dallas Cowboys aren't a threat, they still own them, winning 10 games in a row against the New York Giants. But you got to start from somewhere, start from scratch to build this thing up. And there's still a legitimate chance that if Jackson Dart does not go in the first round, I know some teams like the Saints are starting to fall in love with him, SEC quarterback. But if Jackson Dart falls to the second round, you could possibly steal the draft, selecting Jackson Dart, one of the best quarterbacks in this entire draft class. So is it possible that the Giants can still draft Shedeur Sanders third overall? Yes, I'm not ruling that out. But signing Wilson, Winston, and DeVito just shows me that they would rather take the best player on the board and address the quarterback position, possibly as early as next year's NFL free agency or next year's NFL draft, which would probably be a better draft class with quarterbacks. Arch Manning leading the way in that draft class. But it just shows they are willing to pass on Shedeur Sanders based off of you signing 3 quarterbacks in the month of March with the third overall pick. So we'll see what happens. I still think they could get somebody like Jalen Milroe, who is projected to go in the 3rd round, 4th round this year. Quinn Ewers could possibly fit the bill in there as well for his draft stock in the later rounds. But it's not a guarantee that Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito will be on this team by week 1. So anything is possible and nothing's off the table. But I think the Giants are going to go into that direction, draft the best player on the board, and see what lies for them at the quarterback position. But those are my thoughts on Russell Wilson signing there. Now, Stephon Diggs signing with the Patriots, this was actually a surprising one to me. Stephon Diggs signed a 3-year contract to the New England Patriots, $69 million, with $26 million being guaranteed on a 3-year contract. Now, this was a solid move by the New England Patriots. I mean, I'm surprised that they believe that Stephon Diggs could be their number one wide receiver for next year, coming off of a torn ACL. And I'm kind of surprised that Stephon Diggs picked the Patriots to go to an NFL free agency. Yes, I understand that it is pretty exciting to play with a young quarterback of Drake May, but I thought he could have possibly been back in Houston with the Houston Texans and did some unfinished business, because him and CJ Stroud never really got going together. Or I could have possibly seen him coming to Dallas on a not a cheap deal, but a team-friendly deal to play with Trayvon Diggs and several others in Dallas. I didn't think he was going to be a New England Patriot. So this does give Drake May a true number one wide receiver to play with in his sophomore season. Now, the Patriots rebuild is off to a solid start offensively, because if you look at the team offensively now, they're going to have Drake May at the quarterback position, Stevenson still at running back, Antonio Pierce as the second string running back, Stephon Diggs, Pub Douglas at wide receiver, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper at tight end. This is a solid start, and they still got room to address the holes on this team, whether that's in the draft with their offensive line issues. They can still get some wide receivers later on in the draft. They're a pretty solid wide receiver draft class. So the Patriots are off to a good start, and I think this could be something that Drake May is going to be looking forward to. And I think a veteran wide receiver like Stephon Diggs, that has been around the league for quite some time, played with some quarterbacks like Case Keenum. He's played with Kirk Cousins. Oh no, he never played with Kirk Cousins actually. But did he play? He did play with Kirk Cousins actually. He did play with Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen. So Stephon Diggs has played with a lot of quarterbacks in his NFL career. So him sharing his knowledge of what he likes to do route running wise with the quarterback like Drake May, this could be a solid relationship. But the Patriots got to start somewhere, so I thought this was a pretty solid pickup, getting Stephon Diggs. Now, the last thing I'm going to address for this segment is Dak Prescott. I've seen rumors and speculation that Dak Prescott could possibly be traded to the Cleveland Browns. Now, my thoughts on this, I've seen the rumors and speculation on X/Twitter yesterday, and I've seen Dez Bryant tweeting about it, saying that Shedeur Sanders could become a Dallas Cowboy by the NFL draft. Now, would the Browns be this desperate to get another quarterback? Another quarterback that they would overpay for? And would the Dallas Cowboys be willing to take an $85 million, $90 million cap hit for Dak Prescott's massive contract if Dak Prescott is not on the team next year? I mean, this is something that would be pretty interesting. And would Dak Prescott uplift his no trade clause to be traded to the Cleveland Browns? This makes me think, I don't think something like this would happen, but it's the NFL. You never know. So that makes me question, what would Dak Prescott's trading price be? You got to give up some draft picks. Would they be first rounders, second rounders, third, fourth rounders? What's the asking price for Dak Prescott? Will we get a player in return for Dak? Because even though Dak is criticized a lot, production-wise, he's a top 10 quarterback. If you don't add in the playoff success that he's had, little to none, but regular season production-wise, he's a top 10 quarterback when healthy. So this makes me think, could this trade happen? Could this materialize? This is something to pay attention to, because the Browns, I don't think they want to bring back Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's under contract still, but do they really want him to be the starter for week 1? No. I'm paying attention to the situation with the Browns possibly trading for Kirk Cousins as well. I think the asking price for Kirk Cousins at this particular point of his career would probably be a third, fourth round pick, a couple mid-round picks. So this is going to be something I pay attention to. If it's not Dak, I want to see what the Browns will do in order to get another quarterback to start week 1 for them. Because Cam Ward, again, is going to go to the Titans. But do the Browns love Shedeur Sanders enough to take him second overall with players like Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter still on the board? So we'll see what happens. But this is going to be pretty interesting for the Browns, how desperate they are to have a new quarterback in Cleveland. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.